Hi friends, it's Nancy and I'm back. It's now Sunday, but you're watching this Tuesday, I think. So I've got all the signatures sewn to the spine, and I'm just using a paintbrush to hide the garish white pop throughs. So the white core of the paper is popped through when I put my needle in. I will be putting something on top. I was thinking maybe a big fussy cut, but so that's why I'm doing all of them, because there might be, I don't know why I feel I need to do this step right now. But there it is. Okay, template is, or signatures are sewn to the template. Now I need, not that, I need some fabric glue. So I like to put glue on all of my threads. I don't know that the glue would stop them from popping through if, if a signature was tugged on. I don't know. But that's the way I do things. Okay. I just got a scrap of paper here. Next, make sure the front is the front, the back is the back. All of the pages are upright, because I've definitely had situations where I have glued it in wrong. Okay. Just want to make sure it's more or less even. And just going in with my little folder tool here, and I'm pressing that right into the the thing. Okay, let's put that down. And back to this. So I did finish the sewing here. I'm just going to trim off some threads and any overhanging. And if there's stitch lines that need to be pressed, I will press them. But I think in just about every case I was able to sew with the paper on top. So the needle pop side would be in the textile, so it's not as evident. This one, I want to tie the thread. I'm going to work on this for another maybe 2 hours, and then I'm going to go get groceries. I like to go early Sunday morning. But a couple of the stores that we go to don't open till 10. So that happened last week. We went to Giant Tiger and Rexall, and neither one of them were open. Looks good. So this one has pops. And that's I think that's pretty much the knitting pattern for mittens that I have used my whole life. Only has kids sizes though. My knitting pattern has adult women and men. Oh, he started to sing and then he remembered that I was recording. Oh, I missed that one. I'll have to sew that. It was getting late. I'd done a full day of crafting. What can I say? And then this afternoon, I'm going to go see Jordan perform some park. I don't know what park. I'm sure he'll tell me. I think it's at 4 o'clock in Guelph. Let's have a slurp of coffee so we can talk. It's supposed to be a nice day too. It'll be a high of 23, which is perfect. See, there's another Value Village opening locally in Waterloo, out near Costco. The Waterloo Costco, that is, because we have 2 Costcos. So I saw they were advertising that they're taking donations, so I'm not sure when it actually opens. This has a little flippy outie. Okay, now I have a bunch of papers pulled together. So I'm going to stitch this one and start assembling signatures, and I'll be back. All right, this one is sewn, and so I'm going to do the same step of gluing paper on. And then I'm doing things a little out of order. Usually I like to fully complete my pages, decide on the ephemera that I'm going to put in any pockets or tuck spots, and this time I just wanted to get it sewn, and then I'm going to go get groceries, and then when I come home I'll start filling pockets, and that might be a little more fun to watch than glue dry. Literally, that's what this step is all about. Okay, that's the back. This is the front. That's the front. Just had to make sure my birds were not flying upside down, and my teacups and flower vases were facing the right direction. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for that's got to go. Too lumpy. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for inside pages, but we'll figure that out too. Or not inside pages, inside covers. Get in there, you. Okay, that one's in good. Why are you being a trouble? Ah, I got it now. I think because of the thickness of the fabric, I'm having a harder time getting it down in the fold. All right, I'm going to set that aside, and this one is now completely dry. I'm just putting glue on the paper wrapping. Now, you know what? I'm going to put the glue on the paper. Or, yeah, on the paper instead of on the fabric. That way I can thin it out with a finger. Make some. I'm wondering if I should do patchwork for the inside covers on this one. I don't know that I would. Oh, maybe I would do more embroidery. Never say never. But I do have lots of scraps of this fabric left. So maybe. Come on, glue. Don't be trouble for me. Okay. I will stick a hunk of paper in there just to make sure that they don't stick to the pages, and drop that there. All right, time for a trip to the grocery store. I've got all of my ephemera in here. Pockets are stuffed. I just need to do the inside covers. So I've used some scrapbook paper. That's really unusual for me. And it was thin paper, so I glued it to some heavier card, inked it. And I like to add these little doilies. I'll stitch them down, but I'll anchor them with a little bit of glue right now. They can hang over a smidgy. Still Sunday morning. I sent Doug out to get groceries. I said, do you want to get groceries? And he said, yeah. And I said, I don't. Oh, well, I can go without you then. So he did. Good for him. All right, now I'm going to sew these. Just stitch around the edge, and I'll glue them in. And when I come back, it's going to be a flip through. And here we are with the flip through. This is a big book. I had to really back out my camera. So it's 9.5 inches tall, and it is 6 inches wide, and the spine is about 2. I have 7 signatures. This is a hollow back spine. And let's get started. I better take a seat. So as I showed you before, the cover is all coordinating fabrics that I hand embroidered with various stitches. Added some lace, a few button flowers here, a little more lace here and here. And are we more or less centered? Okay. So inside the front cover, I have popped a doily here to use as a pocket, and I've added this tag that I made myself. Little fussy cut. Some fabric on each signature matching the collection, and all of the pages, which it will become clear soon, all of the pages are Frankensteined and hand stitched, period. So I'll draw your attention to, well, except for when I sewed the fabric on, that was machine stitch, but this took hours and hours and hours. Lots of scraps of scrapbook paper, cut-offs from line paper, and also some genuine ephemera. So this one came from a 1950s catalog, no, not a catalog, a wallpaper book. Here is an old postcard, and inside is a little booklet. I probably won't be able to get that in without turning the book, so I'm not going to. And I've got some vintage seam binding. And this bright green goes great with the green fabrics in the collection. This is some tea-dyed scrapbook paper. Again, lots of hand stitching. This is actually a scan. It's not genuine, but it was in my pile of stuff. This is a title page from a book. This came from an old encyclopedia. Again, some more papers. This is an invoice, a receipt, and I've stitched that, added some lace and fabric and buttons. Let me just shut this door. Okay. This came from a textbook about bookkeeping, and there's just some notes. And here I have this tag that I made. Has a gessoed lady here, and it flips open. Inside some more notes about bookkeeping. Oop, oop. Music manuscript paper that I tea-dyed, scrapbook paper. This flips open, and this talks about 1936 taxes. This is from a box of Cerdo for making jam, and this is a tea-dyed bridge score. And a little pocket here. I've just run some silk embroidery ribbon through there. Popped it inside. This is an image from a book. Here is a tag that I made from antique wallpaper, or very vintage wallpaper in any case, and added some of that fabric from the front. This is an envelope from an old seed house, a seed catalog. This came from some piano roll. So you can see there's lots and lots of blank space for journaling. This is a title page from a cookbook, or well, it was actually the cover of a soft cover textbook. And inside I've just got a book page from a floral book. This is part of an envelope that I embossed. This is a 1913 postcard, and I've made a pocket out of that. And I made this little journaling card using a vintage envelope and other bits and pieces. Tried to keep the colors neutral and bright, so bright to go with the fabrics. Look at all the stitching there I did. This is the other side of a I think this was a wrapper from a seed catalog. This is from an old magazine, and part of a greeting card. This is just some extra journaling space. So this piece came from an antique greeting card. There's a piece of rag paper that has texture paste. And here is a little piece of tea-dyed paper. And a vintage paper clip. Oh, gotta put you back on there. This came from an old journal, or not a journal, a ledger It says 1862 there. And I've just partially glued it down so that it can flip open and you can write on it underneath or on the back. This came from an old encyclopedia. Fussy cut from a watercolor book, some handwritten letter. This came from a dictionary. Back of an old envelope. Did we notice that was an envelope? We have an envelope here. This piece here came from an old Bible. Little handwritten note here. Hugo. Sanborn called, said to let you know it was a he. Ed H. This is from a greeting card. A little tag that I made. This is some vintage wallpaper, and then I decoupaged on those pansies. I love this. I love to look at that. This is part of an envelope. I just put a little word snippet there. This is also from vintage wallpaper. There's a little journaling card. Has some a little bit of a collage there, and it's just pinned on. This is a postcard. It's not attached, it's just pinned there. But I pinned it like that because I wanted to center it, and I thought the colors were good. This came from an old book. This came from an old 1920s National Geographic. This talks about an oriental poppy, and I just happen to have a fussy cut of a poppy. More flowers. I think this came from an old envelope. And here's an envelope here. So it's a tea-dyed envelope. I aligned it with this ads from a magazine, Fussy Cut a Strawberry. And here's another journal card for common red poppy. Little fussy cut here. I think this came, I was going to say I think it was on a package, but maybe not. This came from a botany book, I think, and I just have some memo paper from a vintage book. This is an envelope, or part of an envelope. I've just glued it there so you could flip it up and put some journaling underneath, and a fussy cut of a bird. This is from a vintage greeting card. Here's a little picture. I made this out of an old postcard. This came from a book, an illustration from a book. That's from a greeting card. This is and this came from a from a book, and it was signed Mary Dillon, 1916. Just had this little fussy cut of strawberries. This came from a sewing pattern. that was mailed, and inside I have a tag that I used vintage wallpaper and did a little bit of collaging there. This came from an old flower book. This is an index card that I tea dyed. It was a pink index card and I tea dyed it. This image came from a magazine, I think, or a book maybe. And I just tucked that in there. So I glued it to some card and sanded it to make it look a little older. This is just a scrunched up piece of brown paper. And this is 1919. A Reward of Merit from 1919. And made this little tag. This is from an old magazine, and I colored in the zinnia. This is an altered envelope. So I've decorated it. So there's a pocket behind, and this is also a pocket. Oh, I didn't show you this. This is a little journal card. Okay. I think this is a poem. I'm not sure. Yeah, sorrow moral. Breast rest. I think that came from the envelope of a Seed House catalog. And there's a pocket there behind this tag that I made. This is, again, old magazine. And fussy cut some flowers. There's a fussy cut there, and a little tag here that I made myself. So if you're seeing this journal, it is available in my Etsy shop. You can go over and take a look, see if this is something you want to add to your collection. And there's not a ton of ephemera, not as much as I usually put in, but the hours and hours and hours of work, all the embroidery, every single page has hand stitching. Every single page. So I think it's something special. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed this journal. All right, I'm going to get back to work on this guy. It's Sunday. I don't think it's noon yet. I think we're still in the morning. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.